Hello everyone, and welcome to this quick start to finish tutorial in high speed of this turkey. I'm sure some of you are wanting to paint some turkeys, so I thought I would give you some turkey painting tips. And I've been painting turkeys obsessively. I have several different designs. I'm not sure if I will turn any of them into a real-time start to finish tutorial on my Patreon like I did for this fall painting, which I do have available now along with 200 other tutorials on my Patreon. But anyway, let's look at how I painted this turkey. So like with most watercolor paintings, you want to start with your lightest lights. So that means you add plenty of water to your paint. And the fun thing about watercolor is you can paint a stroke of one color and then paint another stroke of a different color right into it, and they melt together and make the most magical effects. So you see, as I build this painting up, I get darker and darker paint. And I start with the lights and I paint around a lot of white paper so it stays sparkly. In watercolor, our mantra is paint around your lights. And then after you paint the first layer, you can let everything dry, and that's when you can go in for a second go at the painting after everything's completely dry and paint colors on top of what you just painted. You can paint in details, you can add texture on top of the paint that you just painted, and that goes for any painting that you're doing of any subject, not just a turkey. So, but the same rules apply. And that is how I teach all my full-time, real-time start to finish tutorials. Is I teach you the foundations of how to paint watercolor that you can use for any painting. So like here you see, I've switched to a smaller brush because you paint from large shapes to small shapes. I'm using a 0 or 2 round to put in the eyes, to put in the smaller markings, and I'm painting wet on dry. That means wet paintbrush on dry paper, and that gives me harder edges. And when I first started, remember, I was painting a lot of wet and wet. I painted a bunch of colors and then painted colors into those colors to make soft effects. You want a combination of darks and lights. You want a combination of soft edges and melting edges in your work. And you want some texture and some quiet areas. And so turkeys are great for that because they have a lot of markings, but they also have a lot of feathers that can just be quiet and not have too much detail. And I put in spatter just a little bit though to add yet another texture to add even more interest. And if you're interested in my colors, I am glad to share my colors with you. I do have a whole free video on the 10 colors I almost always use on my YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this. Now go watercolor your world.